welcome to another episode of Sports Talk. What an amazing UFC. The most exciting UFC I've ever seen in my life.
What are you
all
talking
fights,
about?
all fights were great. All fights were finishes. All fights were exciting. Barn burners for the ones that went decision. No, I'm just joking. This was a lackluster UFC. Let's be honest.
Straight garbage. I'm sure Dana White is pretty angry. Well, not straight garbage. It was like mid-tier.
It was mid-tier. It wasn't straight garbage.
But more towards the garbage side.
What, do you think it's because the timing that the fighters are fighting at?
I don't think so. I think you got to put a better card. I think you got to put a better
card.
card.
Was pretty good. It's not the worst card. There are 2 championship fights.
You got to understand, UFC fans will watch any card. But you need to draw fans from other sports. Fans from other sports are only going to tune in when big people fight. I know you can't put big names on every card, but even to have Duplessis versus Sean Strickland as the main event, I don't think many people outside the sport know them.
That's the thing that I agree with. But I feel like they should have done this card in South Africa. Why not do it in South Africa? Right?
I don't think they've ever done a card in South Africa.
But now's the time.
Yeah, maybe Duplessis maybe next fight. Maybe Duplessis got to keep winning when he becomes a bigger draw. But let me break down the fights, okay? We made our predictions before, if you watch our other episode. We were right in some of them, wrong in some of them. So the first fight on the card was a pretty good decision win. A dominance, actually. Matthews versus Prado. I chose Matthews. I got it right. You chose Prado. You're always wrong.
Yeah, I thought Prado will be able to put up a better fight, but Matthews did a great job. And yeah, he dominated. He won that fight. The next fight, we're just gonna rush through the first 1-2 fights. There were decisions. The Jimmy Crute fight and the Bellato fight. A draw, greatest decision ever. I really thought they weren't gonna give it a draw. That fight was a draw. A 10-8 round to start off, then a 10-9, 10-9. That is a draw. Usually they don't give that a draw sometimes. Sometimes that's not given a draw. I would say most of the time it's not a draw.
It was a draw. Jimmy Crute came out strong, dominated the first round. But then just a great performance by Bellato to stay into it. And if it went 5 rounds, he might have probably finished. He could have finished him, I believe. He could have finished him.
He had him
so
hurt.
Great performance. That was a pretty good fight. That's why I said it's like a mid-tier card. And then this is the fight. This is a fight that we both said Teixeira's going to win. It's about time Tafa retires, I think.
Yeah, Tafa's an exciting fighter. Always knockouts or gets finished by someone.
35 seconds. That's all it took him.
Yeah, but Teixeira.
Yeah, I didn't know who he was because it's his first UFC fight.
Yeah,
but I can see him becoming a champion in the next 6 fights. Probably.
How tall is he?
Like 6'7"?
6'7". 6'7" and got a well-rounded game. Great on his feet, great on the ground. Just an amazing fighter with that reach. Wow, what a finish. To finish Justin Tafa like that is tough.
Yeah.
And to do it in Australia, even tougher in your main event, in a fight like this, with the crowd all against you.
Yeah, I don't see with experience who can beat this guy. Like, who can beat someone that tall with good striking and a ground game? As long as he has somewhat of a chin, it's gonna be a tough task, and I could put money on this that he's gonna be a champion in the future in the UFC.
Give him Tom Aspinall.
Not yet.
Give him Tom Aspinall, because John Jones is not fighting him. Give him Tom Aspinall right now.
Let's keep the goat out of this for now. Let's keep the goat out of this. So next fight, the co-main event, Chung Wei Li and Tatiana Suarez. I was sadly wrong in this one.
Chung Wei Li was guaranteed going to win this fight. I am thoroughly disappointed that I did not put money on this fight for some reason. I didn't know she was the underdog. That was the problem. I did not know they had Wei Li as the underdog. Tatiana Suarez is going to be a great fighter in the future. She needs to just work on her striking. Her ground game is good. But wow, Wei Li had a better ground game than her. Defended all her takedowns and absolutely pieced her apart standing up. This might be the greatest women's fighter right now. I don't know of all time. She might go down as all time, but right now.
Yeah, I agree. The next fight for her has got to be up a division against Shevchenko.
Yeah.
Because there's no one that could beat her in this division. She out-wrestled a wrestler.
That's been wrestling since she was, what, 3.5?
Yeah, and striking was way more crisp, way faster, not even close. She's just an all-around fighter. Probably either top 2 for sure, top 2 or 3, male or female, most well-rounded fighters in the UFC. She could do everything. Her stamina is amazing. Her cardio, her chin, her striking, her wrestling, everything's amazing.
I want to compare her to an MMA great, in the skill set that I see. She reminds me a lot of Mighty Mouse, Demetrius Johnson. An amazing, well-rounded fighter, probably the GOAT of the MMA world. Let's be honest, that's the true GOAT, maybe. I don't know, it's up for debate. But anyways, she reminds me a lot of him. Just a great performance by her. She needs to move up, and if she beats Shevchenko, I think she's in the GOAT conversation for sure. Let's go on to the final fight. Wow. What a disappointing fight.
No, how?
No.
How?
What? Sean Strickland's got more bark than bite. They need to, you know what they need to do with that guy? Get him to talk on the mic, hype up a fight, and then not show up for a fight. And fill somebody in that's going to take his place and actually fight. And not just stand behind a jab and parry and...
He showed great strength and courage.
He's got a 1 and 2.
He should
1-2. He jabbing straight and he follows it up with nothing. So he's never going to knock anyone out.
But most people quit when their nose breaks like that.
I agree. That was amazing. You got to give it... shout out to Sean Strickland. He is one tough fighter. To break your nose, fix it in the middle of the fight and keep going. And the shots at Duplessis and the size of Duplessis, first of all, Duplessis was massive.
Yeah, and everyone's got to say Duplessis has no skill. Come on, he fought technical that fight. Most of the fight he fought technical. Duplessis is by far the best middleweight in the world right now in the UFC. And no one's even close. I'm
not going to say like what Israel Adesanya and Robert Whittaker is saying. He's the greatest, shittiest fighter or whatever they said. I don't know word for word they said. I'm going to say he's the greatest unorthodox striker. His strikes come out of nowhere. He was more crisp in this fight than he was in like the fight against Izzy. But his striking comes out of nowhere, and when he lands, it hurts. He's a big dude, and he's got a great, well-rounded game. And he, like he said, he's not going to take it to the ground.
Yeah, he did it without wrestling.
He did it without wrestling.
Yeah, so just a great performance.
What's next for him, though?
What's next for both those people?
Yeah.
What's next for them is Sean Strickland probably needs to retire. He had 20-plus UFC fights. He's not going to get another title shot, taking a lot of brain damage. He spars way too hard, so he takes a lot of brain damage in practice. And I don't think he said he has enough money and he's invested right, so I don't think he needs to do it for the money anymore. So I think he needs to retire.
I agree with you on that one.
Like, for his own health.
Yeah.
And Duplessis, everyone knows the next fight is Chimaev. The only person that can beat Duplessis.
Yeah.
In that division.
I want to see Chimaev. And like he said, he wants to do defend the title the right way. He doesn't want to duck any opponents. Shout out to him. He wants to fight Chimaev. I don't know. If that fight happens, we'll make our prediction then. I'm not going to make my prediction now. But what I would also like to see, if Alex Pereira can get by Mamaged Ankalaev, I would love to see Duplessis versus Alex Pereira.
That's what they're planning on doing. So Duplessis needs to beat Chimaev, and then Alex Pereira needs to beat Ankalaev, and then they can set that matchup. As of right now, they both have to worry about their next opponent, and the next opponent for both of them can easily win.
I agree.
It would be their toughest fight for both of them.
For sure.
But overall, it was a lackluster UFC, in my opinion. No one finish in the whole main card.
Yeah.
And
Wei Li's fight was the next best one.
Yeah, that was a good fight. That
was a really good fight.
You can't blame Wei Li for making a good decision. She tried the whole fight to finish it.
No, Tatiana Suarez is tough.
Yeah. But overall, lackluster UFC. The next main UFC would be pay-per-view is Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira. Looking forward to that. For now, thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.